guys, welcome to today's video. The topic of today's video has been highly requested. I have received 2 comments of a similar kind from Hugh Yoss and Sposs Canal. This comment here receiving 21 likes, so it appears like the archives are needing some completion on this particular topic. I was slightly hesitant about doing this topic because I was concerned that it could potentially involve some of our most beloved Star Wars icons. But as I sat there tormented over whether it was worth the risk, I did begin to realize that it is of utmost importance that this question be answered. I shall let you know there are no vegetarian options in this list. So if you're vegan or vegetarian, you might want to reconsider watching this video. I hope I won't wake up tomorrow morning to animal rights activists protesting on my front lawn. But anyway, I say we cut the small talk and jump right into this neglected lore topic not widely talked about amongst Star Wars theorists. Ranking in at number 7 we have Droopy McCool, who was the lead horn player of the Max Rebo Band. I'm a huge fan of the Max Rebo Band and their music, so thinking of Droopy McCool as a food option makes me feel a tad uncomfortable, but it cannot be denied through my visual observations that he would be very tasty. Analyzing this photo, it is very clear that he has quite crinkled thin skin and some really plump looking meat that looks soft like a marshmallow. So from a practical perspective, the crinkled skin could be quite salty and flavorsome when sizzled on a pan and served as a savory option, because the best part of roast chicken is the crispy skin garnished with herbs. But through our visual perspective, the light, sweet-looking color of skin and plumpness reminds me of very nicely roasted marshmallow, so visually I am observing sweet and savory components at play. Deserving Droopy McCool at number 7 ranking. Next, as I was watching episode 1 The Phantom Menace, I spotted our number 6 participating in a very well-known pod race. That's right, you guessed it, Sebulba. Through my visual observations, it looks as though he's got quite a gamey meat, which means a very strong and odorous flavor. I also feel as though it could be quite chewy by the looks, and I imagine quite dry too, but thankfully still rich and packed full of flavor. At first I thought the chewy aspect would mean no place within the list, but I am a big fan of dry processed meats like beef jerkies, so I have a strong feeling Sebulba would produce a very high quality and delicious meat. Next! Ranking in at number 5, we have Mama the Hutt, who looks to be making the most of supreme comfort options in this photo here. Mama was an outer Hutt of the Hutt clan, and as a matter of fact, Jabba's grandmother. And wow, Mama definitely deserves a ranking in this list. Through my analysis, I gather that she has very gristly meat, very ideal for minced patties and burgers. Her very thick leather-like skin looks like it could be fried and battered, and subsequently turned into a crispy chip to accompany a nice burger patty. There would be a lot of fatty saturated meat, which means not very healthy, but the title of this video is what Star Wars alien would taste the best, and Mama the Hutt ticks the boxes. So yes, lots of belly filling by the looks, which is a lower quality meat, but still very juicy I'd imagine, and would be very delicious smoked and marinated. Next! Ranking in at number 4 we have, you guessed it, Admiral Ackbar. I bet as soon as you saw the title of this video, you would have instantly thought of the Mon Calamarian soldier. No doubt, he deserves this high ranking, for the fact that I have reason to believe that he would have a beautiful tender and flaky free-range meat of her seafood kind. I so love seafood, and underneath this hard crayfish-like shell shown here, I have reason to believe it would be very sweet, like lobster, but just a tad more tender and not quite as rich. Crayfish claws have a fine taste that is also sweet and light, so without a doubt, Admiral Ackbar would be a succulent seafood sensation. Next! Ranking in at number 3, you might be very surprised to see Plo Koon. He is the only Jedi Council member to make it in this list. Plo Koon was from the Caldor species, and a Jedi Master. He got quite a spicy looking skin that is thick and tender. At the same time, it is quite smooth, and I feel as though very bacon-like with high fat saturation. If it were to be smoked and sizzled on a pan for a few minutes with a drizzle of olive oil, I believe it would produce a very salty but succulent meat for that special breakfast treat or bagel. Or shore dog club sandwich, of course. Just beautiful and zesty and definitely deserving of number 3 for sure. I'm feeling somewhat awkward talking about Plo Koon in such a manner, but one must be honest and entirely truthful to the facts. And I could not ignore that strong data that suggests Plo Koon has a great meat and is a very tasty creature. Next, ranking in at number 2, we have Po Nu Do. Although he looks like a moth who would hover around your lights at night and ransack your pantry, there is strong data to suggest that he be very tasty. These things here could be crisped up and sizzled over a hot pan on low heat and turned into some kind of fried noodle. And no, I did not say noodle. And judging by this grayish color and texture here, I'm assuming it quite like a smooth pork kind of meat. That would be very tender, but you'd have to be careful not to overcook it, or it would become very chewy by the looks. It looks also quite appropriate for a Thai curry, because the meat in those aren't usually of the best quality, but still very tender, and I believe Po Nu Do's meat would absorb the sauce as well. What really awards Po Nu Do the number 2 is the unique combination of delicious noodle components and the succulence of the soft-looking meat, essentially catering for a 2-in-1 combo. So the separatist and leader of the hyper-communications cartel is a very deserving candidate for being one of the best tasting aliens in the Star Wars galaxy. Next, now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Here is, by visual analysis, the tastiest looking alien in the Star Wars universe with the best meat components. It is the one and only Snootles. Okay, hear me out. This was a tough decision to promote her as a tasty delicacy, for she has produced some of the greatest musical hits in living memory. And despite being an alien, she puts the likes of those in our tacky modern day music industries to shame. Let's quickly compare. Katy Perry doesn't come close. Her vocal range is weak and doesn't have the soprano range Snootles has. Snootles' vocals are clear, strong, smooth, and controlled. Anyway, I digress. What is one Snootles' the number 1 ranking possession is her long snout. This looks like it could be a very thin and fine meat, but would be very fantastic after being smoked on the barbecue, turning into a thin and crunchy crisp that would become very flaky and melt in your mouth. I almost imagine it like a flaky pastry, just with a chewier consistency. Without a doubt, Snootles' snout would be that perfect light savory meal, and could also be seared or marinated to a wonderful consistency. Yum yum. So there you have it. The 7 most tasty alien creatures in the Star Wars galaxy, brought to you by popular demand. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. The archives of the tastiest galactic aliens are now complete. I shall file the results into the Jedi Council library. Let's just hope Jocasta Nu doesn't open the fire, because I would hate for her to seek out the beings listed to fuel her narcissistic and big appetite. Anyways, I shall see you all in the next video. And remember, be happy.
We lost the transmission, sir.